Most of the rhinoplasties all over the world are being performed as an open approach, which is inflicting a scar in the columella and lifting the skin and then working directly with the tip nostril complex and doing reconstruction of the tip and then closing it back. I am a big proponent of closed scarless finesse rhinoplasty. And I personally, in my practice, I feel that about 90% of the noses I see, rhinoplasty inquiries, I am able to execute a finesse closed scarless rhinoplasty. So that being the case, I want to revive this almost extinct art of rhinoplasty, which is a closed scarless approach, my approach. The learning curve for closed scarless rhinoplasty among the students, residents, or fellows is much longer than the open rhinoplasty. And it's one of the reasons I think that open rhinoplasty has become the norm. And I'm here to introduce my passion and the fact that I've been executing it, performing all this closed scarless rhinoplasty, patients from all over the world. And the healing time is much faster. They look a lot more like themselves with a little bit of adjustment or refinement in certain areas of the nose. And that being the case, you want to preserve the integrity and the character of the nose, and that's what I try to do. Instead of trying to have the same perfect, cute little turned up button nose, that doesn't suit everybody. And that should not be our goal as an artist and a surgeon. Our goal should be to preserve the integrity and the character and just tweak wherever it's necessary. A nose particularly with a phenomenal tip nostril complex and a little overprojection or a little bump in the bony cartilaginous junction should always be dealt with closed scarless approach, because you do not want to alter this perfect tip nostril complex. So I'm in a little bit of a mission to see how many more younger plastic surgeons I can teach and spread the gospel that closed scarless rhinoplasty should be an art which should be pursued to help the future generation of patients who are seeking rhinoplasty or nose job. One of the important things about the surgery is the placement of the head. It has to be flat, not hyperextended or hyperflexed, because that will skew the assessment of the profile. So it's critical that the patient is flat. Injections are for vasoconstriction and hydrodissection. It's important to have a bloodless or minimal blood field so that you can navigate through this narrow, tiny spaces through the nostril. Icing is really critical. We ice our patients 1 hour before surgery, and it's a very specific technique. Ice cubes in the gloves, 2 fingers on each side, and that's how they ice for 5 weeks after surgery, 3 times a day minimum. This is the first incision at the caudal end of the septum. And here we pulled out a cartilage which was obliquely placed and obstructing the nasal airway. This is the second piece we pulled out of this is bony septum and is obstructing the other side. So this patient had 3 deviations, cartilaginous one to the left, the bony one to the right, and then again another cartilaginous deviation to the left. We are saving these cartilages and going to reshape it for spreader grafts to recreate the valves. Here is a demonstration of how open the nasal airway is. It's 3.5 inches long, and from front to back is completely open and straight. Weak internal nasal valve on the left side, indentation, and by using the spreader graft, you're permanently strengthening the internal nasal valve and creating a patent nasal airway. Now you look at this intercartilaginous incision between the tip cartilage and the upper lateral cartilage in the groove using a 15 blade. And now the magic of the hydrodissection, you can take a medicine bomb scissors and you see how easily it is skeletonizing the skin over the bony and cartilaginous framework of the nose. So this space allows me to go in and shave the overprojected cartilage sliver by sliver, and you can see by reducing the cartilaginous profile, now reducing the bony projection. Looking at the two wide nasal bones and the open roof, we are utilizing the broken pieces of cartilages and carving them into two spreadographs. We are recycling them, so to speak, and stitching them into the collapsed, weak internal nasal valve area. So this piece of bone has to be gouged out using a special Rubin gouge to create an open roof. So now the two widely displaced nasal bones can be fractured and brought into its normal anatomical alignment. The spreadograph demonstration shows how to stitch the right septal mucosa, the right spreadograft, the septum, the left spreadograft, and the left mucosa, and going back and forth from front to back. We are able to singe and lock the spreadographs into place so they are able to provide a patent nasal valve. Coming to osteotomy, these widely displaced bones have to be fractured. This is Park's curved lateral osteotome, and you have to guide it in such a way that it leaves no shelving and the bones are fractured low to low from bottom to the radix. Once the bones are fractured and realigned and the nasoseptal pyramid is recreated, the taping is really critical. You see, I do not want to leave any dead space, and so I'm constantly molding my tape. Here I'm taking the right nasal bone, anchoring it to the left forehead, and same on the other side. So this molding is really critical to close up the dead space and get an expedient healing. And the cast similarly is molded to realign the nasal bones. The cast will be placed for 7 days